Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me for this symposium. I'm very glad to come. Well, I will tell something in 10 minutes about the content of my work. I always start with this slide. I never change it. I always say, this is not a chicken. It's a piece of art. If you look very carefully to this picture, you see that there is a passport there. You see, this animal has an identity. And normally the chickens are one of the most purebred animals in the world. But this one is a hybrid. It's a crossbreeding between Belgium, France, and England. And to understand a little bit more about this project, we have to jump into the history of the chicken. I mean, the chicken, its life starts at the feet of the Himalaya. And we find there the red jungle fowl. The red jungle fowl is the only chicken in the world, and it spreads its genes all over the world by human interest. And we create in every country a chicken that tells something specific about the country. I mean, I said by human interest, the chicken went over the world. So we're talking here about domestication, by mutation, and by manipulation. Like in Belgium, we create the Mechelse koekoek, which was brought in the World Expo in 1958 to show the world that we have a beautiful chicken for the consumption. To be more clear about what we create, I show the poulet de Bresse. It is red in the head, it is white in the body, and it has blue legs. That's the French flag. In a matter of fact, we put a frame around a living animal. And I'm not sure that we can do this. I think to make evolution, things have to change. And that's why I made my Cosmopolitan Chicken Project, which is a crossbreeding project between chickens. So I start to select chickens all over the world. And as I say, we create chickens all over the world. And for me, that means that there is some cultural influence. And I start the Mechelse koekoek to crossbreed with the poulet de Bresse. I went to England with that result. I went to France. I went to Mexico. And at this moment, I have a chicken who carries 14 different countries inside. 14 generations. Which is there, the Mechelse Silky, which was presented on the World Expo in Shanghai last year. And this year we will crossbreed Egypt. If I tell this story, I don't tell anything about chickens. It's about human beings. And I think if you come up with a story, then you tell something about globalization, multiculturalism, cloning, genetic engineering, and I think every big issue that we are talking about. Everything starts in 2000 in Watu, when I started to crossbreed the Mechelse koekoek and the poulet de Bresse, and I was putting these eggs in an incubator. And every 3 weeks there, on the border between Belgium and France, new sculptures were born. The Mechelse Bresse. And it's all about breeding. After now 15 years of crossbreeding, I can show in a museum all the different generations. And I think it's important. But for me, it's dealing with diversity. That you can see that there is diversity. And what is important for me is the ring around the leg. Because the ring says that mankind is coming into this. That's why I enlarged this ring here in the Biennial of Venice, on the canal, on a place where everything and everybody is coming together. Is this science? Is this biology? I'm sure it is art because it's full of surprises and I follow those surprises. I become the watcher of my own work. Because on one hand, the chicken is giving itself to this project, and on the other side is revolting. And I'm the watcher of my own project. And I think it's very important. This surprise is like here in England. I brought in Listen Gallery in London, in the center, the Mechelse Bretje was born from the Mechelse Koekoek and the Poulet de Besse, Belgium, France, together with the English Red Cup. And the English Red Cup, I couldn't find it anymore in England because it was so popular in the 60s that it becomes infertile by inbreeding. But by bringing in Belgium and France, England becomes fertile again. It was the next day on the cover of the Times because they said it's better than the European Union. So crossbreeding brings fertility. That's interesting. I mean, is this natural breeding what I'm doing? Or is it genetic engineering? I think that this project is really dealing with the middle of it. It's between natural breeding and genetic engineering. And there we can find the questions. That's also why I'm using scientific elements in my work, like here the incubators, waiting to hatch. And one of the most important pictures maybe of my old PowerPoint presentation is this one. After 7 generations of crossbreeding, you see on the surface the diversity. And as I said before, for me, it's about diversity. And if you see it on the surface, what is happening inside. So, with scientific friends, we go to look into the dead chicken, but also in the living chickens. So we start to assemble the DNA, the genetics, to control and to see what's going on there. Is there also diversity inside? Another thing is because of the chicken flu, I start to collect the sperm of the roosters to have a backup because the environment is there. The environment is attacking the process. And we are the process. Is this hybriding? Or are we killing our environment? I don't know. Another point is, which is dealing with plastic surgery, I think. One of my roosters lost his sperm. And when a rooster has no sperm, it doesn't mean anything. So, I asked again to one of my friends, a stomatologist in this case, to give him a new sperm. So with the new technique of implants, we give him a golden sperm. Gold, it doesn't mean anything for the chicken, but it means a lot for us. And so, from nothing, he becomes king. That's how I present it also here in Museum M, in a big cage, together with all the generations. My cooperations with scientists already start in 1999, where we started the walking egg with a fertility specialist, Dr. Will Montblanc. After 10 years of collaboration, it ends, or it starts, first with a foundation and with a permanent installation in the fertility clinic. On one side, you see the science, and on the other side, you see the cage with one egg. And in the middle, you see the hybrid. You see the artificial crossing between the chicken and an eagle. The power and the strength. Because I really believe if you bring elements together here in Nature, on the cover of Nature in 2003, they put the chicken there. And they said maybe it's the most important animal against degeneration diseases and viruses. I think that the world from tomorrow has to be transparent, so something new can be born. This brings everything together, I think. Transparency, crossing. So I will say a few words about my Salvator globe. This one normally stands on top of the church. The ball stands for the world, the cross, of course, religion, and on top of it there is a rooster. I think in this case the rooster came down to the world again, because I think he's showing too much power there. And by crossbreeding, communication, it generates maybe new chances. Transformation. And then I go back to my reginald foal. It reminds me of that. It's also a border animal. Because every 2-3 years I do an expedition to the Himalaya to see where this animal lives. And I saw that it lives on the border between the jungle and the village. I think there is a big question. Who came to who? Did the chicken come to us? Or did we go to the chicken? Who knows? I think we use every little detail already. Think about food, consumption, me in confrontation with my own creation, eating the chicken, construction, destruction, the chicken on top of the world calling the world. I think there is some kind of signal function there. Back to the Salvator globe, and this time it has a new configuration. You also see the women's sign now. And is this destructive or is it constructive? This one is what I like, to bring the two parts together. Because I believe in symbiosis. I believe that this is looking on the backside of the moon so that we can discover things that were in the past, things that may be now, and things that can tomorrow. I think we have to bring energy, communication, and life together to break two boundaries. That's why this year I will present my work also in the Biennial of Venice, where we're going to make the Open University of Diversity, and besides the actual breeding, crossbreeding with Egypt of the 15th generation, we will make a complete library and linked ourselves to the world and the different universities who are already working on the Cosmopolitan Chicken Project. Like the research on the DNA, like the fertility, the immunity researches, but also anthropology. I think that every organism is looking for another organism to survive, and I'm afraid the same applies to man and chicken. That's why I'm always searching for new boundaries and new cooperations. I thank you.